Talking about gender-sensitive communication. And that's what we are here to learn, how to deal with each other in a gender-sensitive way. If you do not know what gender is all about, it has to do with acquired habits, patterns, lifestyle, culture, traditions, ways of doing things we have been raised up with. And for example, we know that it is accepted that women traditionally are the ones who cook and to raise children, and the men are the ones to go out to work, get the money. But we know in today's world the roles really have changed because women too earn money and they work hard. Some of them are bosses, managers, and what have you. And so a man cannot say, well, the woman's place is only in the kitchen. So if we both go to work and we both come home, we must cook. So these are the issues we are confronted with today. And we call them gender issues because the roles have changed. What used to be the traditional ways things were looked at are no more the same. And so there's been a lot of discussion, a lot of talk about changes in these roles and what we need to do. If you're an African like myself, I mean, you know what I'm talking about. You know how we're raised and what we expect of a woman and all that. Okay, right now we are in a modern society, a modern setup, if you like. And so we got to learn new ways of dealing with one another. And if we do not learn how to deal with each other in a gender-sensitive way, then we can imagine the consequences. A lot of clash in the home, misunderstandings, everybody is trying to justify him or himself based on what they are doing, and I mean it's going to be chaos. So I think that we are really privileged to be in a setting like this, where we can learn some of the gender-sensitive techniques, in how to deal with one another. We have actually, I would say we're very privileged tonight because we're one of the very fine gender trainers around with us tonight, who is going to lead us. As you can see, this is going to be a workshop, so it's not going to be a lecture per se. We're going to have an interactive session. Today is a Thursday. In fact, I left home like 8:30 this morning. I have not been home. We have been in workshop the whole day, so we had to last minute rush some things. So excuse us if we came in a bit late. We've been really, really busy doing all that we can. So thank you for coming out tonight. We're still hoping and expecting some more people, and hopefully we're going to have a good time. So I'd like to say welcome. Now before we go further, I would like us to, it's customary for us to share a word of prayer. So if you believe in prayer, that's fine. If you don't, just observe this moment of prayer and give respect to God, and then we'll be on our way. Shall we bow our heads, please? Father, we thank you in Jesus' name. We thank you for this opportunity, for bringing us together. We are asking that you will bless us and let this session be very, very fruitful. I pray that everyone here will be blessed, and those who are going to join us also will be blessed. Thank you for a fruitful time. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Okay. Well, I'd like to quickly do a round of introduction, then we'll be on our way. My name is Reverend Larry Dorkano, and I'm a pastor of Rivers of Life Bible Church. And myself and my wife, we are ministers, both of us. But we got into media or radio a few years back, and we've been very busy since. We realized that there's so much going on. And we think it's a blessing to be involved with society at a very, very, let's say, basic level, whereby we can give information and we can interact with people and get to know what they are feeling. Sometimes you get distance from people because of your position and what have you. But the radio has really changed our perception and our view of society. And that we try to share with those who come around us, like in a session like this. And I would like to say I'm happy to have you here tonight. Now, let me quickly ask you to introduce yourself briefly, anyhow you want to. And then once we're done, we'll be on our way. Okay? Let me start with this gorgeous lady in front of me, to my left.
Ruth Bonnie.
Ruth Bonnie. Welcome, Ruth. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Hi, my name is Emmy David. Nice to meet you all.
Thank you.
Do you by any chance work with KKD?
Sorry?
You work with KKD? With one?
Not so much.
Not so much.
Not so much though. I work at the Free University.
Okay.
Yeah,
Welcome.
so do some things there.
Thank you.
Keep us all
Please.
busy.
And what university?
Sorry?
The food.
The Free.
Go, go.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yes, madam.
Hello, good evening. My name is Patience Ukazu.
Patience Ukazu. Welcome. Okay. Madam.
Hello, my name is Oluchi Omo.
Oluchi. You have a Nigerian name with a non-Nigerian accent.
Hi, good evening. My name is Evelyn Ama.
Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Boris.
Boris.
Boris. I'm from Amsterdam, obviously, maybe. What we do, I work with the Constellation, and what we do is we visit communities to see how strong they are and to learn from communities. And my dream is to, in Amsterdam, to have communities mingle with each other and to learn from them, from the other communities. So that's what we are about.
Are you an anthropologist then? You studied anthropology?
No, I studied business.
Business?
Yeah, it's nothing to do with it, really. It's a long time ago. And my father is a psychologist, my mother is a general practitioner. And I was always interested in kind of people and helping people. And then I started to study business. I don't know what got into it, but now I'm back on track.
Good to know. Yes, sir.
My name is Bobby Zakaria. I'm from India. I'm studying at the Free University along with Emmy. We both are PhD students there.
Wow.
But we believe in the capacity of communities and the families to make a real difference.
Yeah.
So we are seeing that communities around the world are working on the issue of malaria, TB, diabetes, HIV. Now I work with suicide. There is a lot of suicides happening in India. So we are encouraging the families and the communities to really support one another and prevent suicide, and also support those families where the suicide has already happened. That's how we met in India. Emmy works also with me in India. But we are also exploring some family and community strength-based initiatives here in Amsterdam. So that's why we would like to link up with you.
Yeah.
And we found this
You're very welcome.
Good evening, my name is Prince, and it's pleased to be here tonight.
This is one of our local politicians.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a gentleman in a red shirt. I'd like him to introduce himself.
Okay, I'm Juan Golfer from the Municipal Health Service. Two things. Sorry that I have to leave at 8:30.
No.
Yes. And secondly, I invited the three guests to experience how the community works. So I hope you will embrace them and answer all the questions they have.
Yeah.
They're more than welcome. They're more than welcome.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's go. Yes.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Ricky, and I live here in Amsterdam.
Yes. Welcome. Teacher, man. Teacher, welcome. Okay.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Reverend Henry. I'm excited about what you said about exercise because we went to Ghana, India 2 years ago, and then we visited 5 communities because we went for mission work because of the bishop we met in the United States. So we told him we would come to India to do some mission work, and then we found out that the height of suicide was too high. So we, as a matter of fact, we visited about 5 or 6 homes where young people just committed suicide. So, and I was having it in my head that I would like to do something, regarding to that area to see how to support and encourage them not to be drinking those things they are using to kill themselves. So I'm excited that you are from India. Okay, thank you for being here, and I hope you will enjoy being here.
Okay, the gentleman in the, with the phone, iPhone in his hands.
Ayang brother Omil, ik kom from Dominicaanse Republiek. Ik kom aan het Amen.
Yes.
Yeah. He's one of us, he's on the board with us, Pan-African Media. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. With that out of the way, I would like to say, I think we're going to have a good time. I'm hoping the others will join us, and I hope they don't come too late.
I do have half an hour.
No, you're supposed to have 1 hour. Okay, now the lady in front of you who is itching to get started is called Mileke Dinev. She's a gender trainer. That means she goes to companies and does workshops on gender issues, because this is a key issue of our modern times. So we actually follow the training she gave, I think 2 or 3 years back at the VKD. So we're glad she. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're glad that she availed herself to be here tonight. In fact, she was scared. She almost scared us because she was given a huge bill. We said, well, we can't afford that. One can't pay that. So you better do something.
No,
Fortunately, she agreed to just come and give us this course, the full material, not at a professional rate. So I wanted to value what she's going to do for us tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mileke Dinev.
Hello. Well, I work at WPF, and do you know what it is? What kind of institution that is? I say no, and I say yes. Well, the people who know, can you inform us? No. Well, WPF is an expert center here in Holland, and it's an expert in sexuality, sexual health. And we're not only operating here in Holland, but also internationally. And that's the WPF means, because that formerly was a World Population Foundation, and we merged. But we did some things totally the same, but only on different places on Earth. We had formerly youth in centers, and we were with youth in centers aimed at youth in other countries. Well, let's see. This was what Helen asked me to do. She said, well, could you tell something about gender-sensitive communication skills in relationships, and so that people become aware of sexual health implications of using these gender-sensitive communication skills in their everyday life. Well, I know something about gender, and I know something about gender skills in relationships, but not too much. I'm going to merge those two too. Because, and my colleagues from the international department of my institution helped me a bit. Because not so long ago, we started a project aimed at men and boys in several countries in the world. And the aim was something to do with gender. And of course, where is he? The minister told us something about gender already. And well, there's a difference between sex and gender. But I think you know, we all know that, or not? Yeah? Do you know what sex means? The differences between men and women.
Oh,
sex.
The sex means what
Sex is man and a woman.
Yeah. So, where do it refer to? Does it refer to?
It refers to, yeah, but this is, yeah. Your
Male and
gender,
female.
what outward,
Yeah, the biological.
yeah, figures have that make you.
So that's to give an example. For instance, a man has a penis and a woman has a vagina.
Yes.
Let's say something like that. But gender is something totally different. But I think you all know that already. It's socially constructed, and it refers to social and cultural differences between men and women. For instance, let's say, can you give an example, some of you?
Girls like pink, boys like blue.
Yes, it's very deeply rooted in our society. But nowadays, and that was one of the goals of my international colleagues, we do something a bit different, because gender sensitive is an approach that takes into account the specific needs and realities of men and women, but they do not necessarily seek to transform or influence gender relationships. And gender transformative approaches are differently, because if you think it's not manly to use a condom, or not manly to do the dishes, then suddenly you can think, well, maybe it is manly to use condoms. Maybe it is manly to do the dishes. And that's what gender transformative in a very simple way means. And my colleagues made a little clip. And I want to show you that. And I will ask you to look at it and try to find the gender issues within. And I'm going to ask you suppose some questions. Do you recognize gender issues? Do you think, when you think about yourself, what are the barriers concerning gender you experience yourself after that? But we come back to that later. What do I have to do here? Then I have to go to my, I'm not very good at this one. Here. And this should work. Oh, how do you move it? So? Yeah, like this. Can you all see it? Yeah.
mbese abanza kuvuga ati niba nkomeje ku ishuri kikagenza ibibazo ubu cya gikomere cyanjye kirazamutse perimyaye bintu තමයි indone කියන්නේ වැඩ කරන්න කොහොමද අකමැතිනේ ඒකට මට මම අම්ම කරලා දෙනවා එයා ගෙදර ඉඳලා කරනවා ඔක්කොම එයා බලාගෙන
Essa ferramenta é poderosa, gente na comunidade de transformação. Ela não vem um monte, ela vem pingo, pingo, pingo. Então, torna aquele rio forte.
what I would like you to do now is talk with each other in little groups. Reflect on this. Can you find gender issues in this? What do you recognize some things? Do you recognize the way people changed, or do you recognize, or was it like this for you too, in the beginning, when you were young? Can you talk about it in little groups?
Yeah, little groups. Yeah, little groups. Talk with one. Okay. Yeah,
why are you saying talk with me?
No, because I can talk with him. He doesn't understand very well. I want it because I want the knowledge you have. Let other people hear. You are my mentor. He's my mentor. This man, he will convince you within a twinkle of an eye.
So tell us how, what you observe. No.
Tell us.
Yeah, we are still talking in a group, so we are conversing, isn't it?
Change. Change. Okay, Osomil, it got over.
Why don't you tell me what did you think about it?
I first asked you the question, isn't it?
It's not going to work that way.
I'm just trying to observe one or two things there.
And what did you observe?
Yeah, usually everywhere in the world, women are made to take care of children, of the home, and things like that.
But don't you think that in a way sometimes people both take care of the children, but differently?
Yes, yeah, you're right.
Both are taking care of the children, but differently. And the thing is, what do you want to change in there?
Why do I?
No, what would men want to change in there? You know, because for me, I think that by saying that the one is doing something, the other one isn't.
What is
but like what you said, that both
in Dominican Republic, so? Was it so? Dominican Republic?
Vroeger? Dorpen was zo.
Dorpen, in the dorp, yeah.
Iedereen, vrouw en man moest studeren.
In Dominican Republic?
Misschien vroeger, maar niet zo.
Yeah, it's true.
But how do you think it become that men are not doing it?
You can join them.
Because I think if a man is being raised a certain way,
you have to get a son. If you are a woman, your husband needs a son. If you don't have a son, you marry a new woman.
It's true. It's true.
Take good care of the girls. The education.
If you like to have 5 guests, no boy
because there's a girls. No, there's married
back home. How does the role of different back home?
It's individual. But the situation here is very old-fashioned. That is what used to happen long time ago. Because if you go to employment is very good. A lot. So if you go to school, a lot of women
gathering together, they fight, they run. So there's a lot of
those equal. Because before, men used to be very proud and say, I don't want to.
For sure.
That was accepted. That is the Western man does that. Very old fashioned.
Yeah, Betita, can I add to that? But I think it has not really changed to the level that we want, because you could still see gender, in all the areas, like the way the command way, the way they can silence a woman when you are talking. You know, because I went to, I'm just from Nigeria 3 weeks ago. So you could see that kind relegating women. It's still there, even because I went to this meeting with the professionals, which our president invited all the professionals. So I was in that meeting. But even among the elites, you still see them practicing this gender thing.
Because you know what is causing that? Because men in Africa, they totally believe they are superior.
Yes.
To women. That is what causes emotion. No, if that thing is taken away, and also, you know,
yes,
the women are not saying they are superior to men.
Exactly.
It's not always, but there's a little bit of fear, both from men and women. Like some of the men who are bringing their women back from Africa, when I ask them, why are you doing that? They'll say, because the women here are too independent.
Yeah.
There's a bit of fear that the women will stand higher than them.
Yeah.
And then when they bring, the most men who bring the women, I see that the women also don't work. You know, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing also. Can you name anybody who has recently brought a wife here that the wife has gone to work?
Yeah, but I don't know why they are not working, because somehow along the line, I don't think it's because of gender issue. It could be because of the fact that they don't have the paper, the documents to work. I think so. But I think what she's saying is very peculiar with the Igbo culture. It's like they don't allow their women to go and work. So it's a thing of pride.
It's not always allowed, or sometimes they just,
they call us that time,
want them to stay home with the
and then that time we were called Oriako. Oriako means a wife that is but and then the mother-in-laws began to quarrel about that. They say you don't need to be Oriako, you have to be Opatako. Opatako means you have to work for it too. So now we are in the era where women are now Opatako.
Is it helping? No? Is it, are they
because sometimes when you recognize the when students are public, they
yes. Yes.
It can cause a confusion.
And he has to work. When you're both trying to talk at the lights, it's also hard.
Hmm?
When you're both trying to come in front.
Experience some
in a boat.
Maybe it has to be the balancing of power. And how do you balance that? If balancing it means okay, Monday to Friday, Monday to Wednesday, I will take care of the kitchen, when I start the job, that will be okay. Wednesday to Saturday, the woman who take care of the kitchen. And in between, one taking care of the children. See, that's the balance of power. The ability to strike that balance.
Okay.
It's going to be very difficult.
Talk to them.
Is it nice?
Yeah. The issue of gender equality is everywhere.
Yes.
No matter how advanced the country is. Because if you look at Western Europe now, for example, the Scandinavia, they are far ahead of countries, especially in the West. That is Netherlands.
Also in India.
The Scandinavia, Sweden, Norway, Finland, Denmark, they are ahead when it comes to gender. This part of the world. Even in America, they are worse off than Western Europe.
Even in India, I think it will be the worst, because gender equality will never be promoted in India. Because I was in India and I saw how the caste system is playing out. So I think gender, I should totally left that of
So for long,
Gender.
Can I have your attention?
Yes, please.
Well, I see you have a lot to talk with each other, to tell each other about gender. And maybe each of you can say one thing. What came before? What was talked about in your group? I heard you enough. I heard you speak enough.
Yeah, I mean, what we arrived actually at was that gender inequality still exists. There is a situation maybe whereby certain society, for whatever reason, whether tradition or culture, refuse to invest in their women or girls.
Mm-hmm.
That is unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
We also spoke on probably the insecurity among men to see their women climb.
Yes.
Maybe when she climbs, you see the tendency for her to
hijack power.
Take over power, take over the house, or look elsewhere, becomes very big. And also we also raise the issue of men seeing themselves as no matter what happens,
I'm the boss.
I don't have to be weak. I just have to push on. Even against all odds, when I fall, I got to stand up. In other words, I shouldn't show emotions, even though they are in there. It is a gender issue with men.
Yes.
It's a way of showing the muscular side. And meanwhile, you are burning inside.
So
what is wrong in showing it?
And does that have a risk in it?
Sorry?
Does that?
Oh, sure, it does.
What kind of risk?
I believe.
Between men and women, for instance?
Yeah, your inability
for sexual health, for instance?
Yeah, I believe when a man is insecure within his own relationship, whether as a result of he trying to show how tough he is, how tough he is, it only means you are not being true to yourself in that relationship. And when you are not true to yourself in a relationship, I believe one way or the other, sexually is also going to affect their relationship. And the women, without due respect, being sensitive to this kind of things, we equally respond in that manner.
Okay.
That is what I think I can affect one sexually in a relationship.
Okay, but this gives me another break, because what kind of effect can this have on the communication of men and women? Those things you just told us.
I believe in a relationship, I don't know if anybody wants to take it.
Maybe somebody else wants.
Yeah.
If I may come in here, we were just discussing that in West Africa, our relationship has changed very fast, especially Ghana, Nigeria, Togoland, those areas. We've changed very fast because before, the woman already is a hard-working woman. They carry the babies, they go to the farm, they fetch the water, they feed the children, even though we are not expected to go to school. So we go to school, we are home, and our labor takes care of our brothers at school. And we come later, we marry, and our men are the bosses, and we cook, we clean, we have babies, we do this. But now our men have said, oh, our girls are good. They are strong women, they have potential, and they are respecting us for that. So even in our culture right now, I will say, I've never seen my uncles or my mom or my dad shout at my mom or beat her, never. Because they appreciate these women. So there is no, I would say there is no jealousy, so it takes only very few anger issues to see the women or the men being jealous, frustrated, and want to fight.
So we don't have to work at gender communication styles, sensitive communication styles.
Yeah, I want to add to what she is saying. Okay, you made mention of the African women working very hard. That is true. But somehow along the line, their emotions are being bottled. Because while they are working so hard this way, they are grumbling. I mean, even if they don't say it, but there's no how a woman will work so hard and without having some kind sentiments in the heart. So many of them just bottled up because maybe if they will say something, they will be beaten up or they will be ostracized. They will be looked as a rebellious woman. Why are you talking too loud? Because the other women are enduring it. So they enjoy it. So that's gender inequality. So they just have to endure even when it's not necessary for them to endure. So the modern African woman must learn to speak out. It's not everything that our mothers did that was very right. Even though it promoted, it made them to be in relationship permanently. But some of them were like slaves.
It's true.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have here a bit of a...
No, well, what he's saying is, you see, the Bible, we are Christians. The Bible says the man is the head of the house. And the Bible says that women respect this man.
But not to work like a slave.
And they tell
I'm a minister.
Love this woman.
Exactly.
And when they say love is deeper. Love is more, you give more, you take care of more. But let me say, me, my line, I'm saying it's like me and my family.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I said first.
Yeah.
Because my mother is only woman, my aunties are the only one woman. But when you go to another extended family, the men marry four. Yeah. So when you marry four, you say this one has only girls, I want a boy, and they go and marry another woman to give them boys. And then the woman said,
yes.
No, then they'll be angry. Mm-hmm. But in my little corner, when they are one and they are appreciated, it's a little bit different.
Yes, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
and
but
the thing is also, it's individual. We don't choose individual. Yes. You can't generalize everybody because there is also some men who get married who already started their life being insecure. Mm-hmm. Yeah? So when they get a wife, they would like to play boss. Because of their insecurity.
Yes.
So that can affect a lot of African men until they see what other men are treating their wife. Then they try to join in also. Really. Yeah, that can happen sometimes.
Okay, but from the this thing that we watched, from the movie we watched, we could see that the boys were sent to school. Yeah. What about the girls?
Yeah, the girls were not sent
to
school.
I was just coming back from Africa, I saw that on the highways you will see so many of these girls, selling water and selling this and selling that. So the number of girls I counted were more than the number of boys. So where are the boys? They are being sent to school, even in this modern time. And the girls are to carry the water and be hawking with the granite and whatever. So
there are differences.
Yes, exactly.
But let's talk about
that inequality is something I still do believe that it's not only restricted to the third world. It's not only restricted to the third world alone. In as much as the gap, as compared to the Western world, right here they are far ahead of us over there. But the point I'm trying to make is that the inequality still do exist here.
Yes.
In our group, I did mention something about the Scandinavian, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Finland. If you look at the way they address gender issue, a good example is in Sweden. It's in Sweden. In the parliament, it is 50-50. That is what it's law that the members of parliament, 50% women, 50% men. But again, when you look at a country that prides itself as the biggest, or rather the most powerful democracy on earth, that has still not produced a female president, then you ask yourself, this is a country that teaches every other one, this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do, this is what you shouldn't do. Look at the Dutch parliament. How many women do we have there?
You're right.
How many CEOs do we have
in
the Dutch business world? So that we, from the third world, we still have a long way to go. That's not to say that here in the West, oh, it's already done, then...
No, I don't think so. No, that's right. But what I wanted to talk with you here is how does gender, the differences between men and women in a social constructive way, how can you see that in our language, in our communication? Because some of us, we say, well, we're rather, you know, we're rather okay, there's not equal to each other. But can you see gender in our communication? Can you see gender?
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I think we need to make it more personal.
Yeah.
Because until now we are talking about them.
No.
And I wanted to bring it closer.
Mm-hmm.
How do we communicate with each other? What kind of words do we use to each other when we are addressing the gender issue? How do you communicate to your son, to your daughter? How do you communicate to your brother or your sister? You know, let's bring it closer when we were talking about.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
because when you bring it closer, then you feel it, and otherwise it stays
Very
there.
far. Yeah. So what he's trying to say, like you have a baby girl and you have a baby boy, and then both of them have come to school. So the baby girl, you quickly will say, go to the kitchen. Meanwhile, the boy is watching television. I mean,
That's something close with us, but I still talk about mankind. And you know, I mean, it's not so close, but
And how come you call it mankind?
Because everybody calls it like mankind. But is this a gender-sensitive word? Mankind.
I don't understand it.
Yeah.
That's really the bar. So we have to think ourselves beforehand. What kind of words do we use? In Dutch there are a lot of words and also
gender insensitive.
Yeah, insensitive.
Can I ask you on this word mankind? Do you think that's a gender insensitive word?
Oh, I can.
They have mankind, they have chairman.
Biologically, we
There are
always
words
use the word man.
Yeah. Refers to both
Other words for that.
But having said that, I'm not that good in the Dutch language. But what I do observe is that they have a way they make that difference in terms of, you know, take for example, medewerker. You hear medewerker. You always see those things to differentiate from exactly. Yeah, but in some language, I don't know even the word in Italy. They said the language there is so muscular. That is what I understood of the Italian language as compared to the Dutch language. You always hear this star, you know, to differentiate the man and the woman. You know.
Things like saying he or she should do that. You know, so it differentiates already between men and women. But okay, let's go make it a bit more personal, as Juan told us. And let's talk about communication.
Melika,
Yeah.
she has a question.
Yeah.
I didn't understand what you mean by mankind when we are talking about this issue.
Well, is that a very gender-sensitive way of express yourself? That's the question. You don't think so? So what would you say?
About mankind, that word, I would just say it means coming from man.
No, but what is there another word you can use?
Humanity.
Okay,
that's not the problem.
But the only thing I want to say is that it starts with all the things, all the words in the language we used to use. So we have to think about it. You know, I would understood if you say, well, sometimes we say man is handsome and not beautiful. But I'm learning from you too, because I'm not so very fluent in English. So that's what I want to say. That's the broader thing. The very general looking, what's your language? That's what I only say. But the communication, what is it about? Well, of course, it's the purpose is to share thoughts and to share feelings and information. But there are various styles of communication, and some of them you refer to bottling up, and or you refer to bottling up, not really saying what you want to say. Individuals have various styles to communicate with each other and interpreting communication from each other. And this means that the way the other partner interprets your message depends on the way you communicate. And there are at least two ways to communicate.
Verbally and non-verbally.
Yeah, and verbally and non-verbally. Very good at this. Well, well, we all know some explanations of verbally. We already had some examples of it. But can somebody give me an explanation or an example of non-verbal communication?
Body language. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Body language.
And well, that's and can you give an example? What is body language?
The way you are
Body
doing
language.
body language is using your body to talk.
Yeah. But you told me she's bottling up. What is she doing then?
Huh?
She's bottling up. She said she's very quiet.
She put it inside.
Bottling up is
inside.
And how does that show?
There is
with anger.
Attitude. And how does it show? What do you see?
Sometimes you can read it on the face. Yeah, you can read it on the
person is
face.
angry.
Behavior when it's not happy, you can tell. Yeah, you can tell. You understand me? That is the body language. You might not like to express it out. Yeah. I may sit quiet like this, maybe looking at you like
Make yourself small. Okay. And is body language always consistent to verbal language? No, somebody said no.
Verbal language, oh sorry.
Yeah, okay.
The body language you said, is it always consistent? That was a question. No, I don't think it is. But also, it can be interpreted in various ways.
In society.
Yes.
Yeah. When you do this in Netherlands, everybody knows what it's going. Oh, great. But who knows what it means? Your middle finger here, you know what it means. Over there, maybe, oh, God bless you.
Let's keep it really near you, like Juan said now. For example, you come home and your husband is home too. And you know, it's a big mess. Everything lays on the ground. All the things from the children, and he hasn't even cooked. And what do? You come in, you clean up. Now, but let's say you're angry. So you say, okay, I don't like this.
The first reaction will not be clean up. The first reaction will be,
Thank you. Or if you don't want to say anything, just with hand and start packing up the things. Yeah, you understand me? So if someone's asking you, how was your day, you don't even mind. That is it. And different ways of expression.
The body language.
So, because silence is also communication.
Yeah.
You don't say a thing,
but you have a million words.
Silent treatment. Silent treatment.
Well, I wrote a lot of styles, communication styles. There are different communication styles. And when you see this continuum, you have at one hand the aggressiveness and at the other hand more passive, being passive. Can you think in the old time when we all were very different and acting like men or acting like a woman? Can you say who was the aggressive type?
The man.
In those days. And what belongs to aggressiveness?
Anger.
Anger. And
Fighting.
how do you express that? Shouting.
Fighting.
Verbal. Fighting. Beating, maybe?
Whoa. Yes, domestic violence.
I have a problem with this. Excuse me, but I have to. Because a woman can be aggressive as much as a man can be. And the same, a man can be passive as much as a woman can be. I think it has to do with how people perceive things. And where are you tapping from? Because if you have a certain idea, and I will take myself as example. I'm a tall, black guy. From the moment I get into a room, some people will perceive me as aggressive. Because I'm invading the space. I'm taking too much of the space. And for some, it can be like, oh, that guy is too big, he is too present, so it can be intimidating. And maybe I'm a pussycat, but I'm still being...
You are a pussycat.
but I'm still perceived as aggressive. You see? So...
It's like stereotypes. People fall back.
Yeah.
But you're correct, and I was going to... that's exactly what I wanted to hear.
Okay.
I'm
too quick.
But I want to tell that there are different styles of communication. So there's a passive style of communication, not expressing your own opinions or feelings, and that can be a man or a woman. Not protecting one's rights, not identifying and meeting one's needs. Well, then in the middle, let's say the other side is aggressive communication, expressing feelings and opinions and say what you need, and in a way that violates the rights of others. And this is someone who does it constantly. Passive-aggressive communication is appearing passive on the surface, but in fact acting out anger in a subtle way. And that's what you were referring to. Because you do what you want, what you think you have to do, but deep inside you feel anger, and you can sometimes, and that's what I want to explain, you can sometimes see it in one's, maybe not verbal, but in the non-verbal communication of somebody. Assertive communication is what we would like to do for everybody, and what we would like to want for everybody, even for me. Because I find it sometimes also difficult when I'm coming home and nothing has been done.
By who?
It's by my husband. Okay. Assertive communication is clearly stating opinions and feelings and firmly advocate your rights and needs without violating the rights of the others. And that's very difficult, I think. What do you think we need for that? What do you think you need for that?
To be assertive.
Yeah, to be assertive.
Yes, to be assertive.
Learn how to make yourself understood. That is important. Because sometimes you can communicate with people, but they are not understanding.
But I'm not communicating with people, I'm communicating with my husband.
Now, if I may come in here, at times you cannot go and tell your husband, you know, my car is old. I need a car. I need it. I don't even. You cannot say that. Because you are communicating your feelings, what you need is important, and you want him to accept. But you don't expect him to say, yes, madam, I'll buy you a car. It will depend on how much. If he has the money, if he has an old car, he wants you to use that one before. So at times you have to communicate, but it's a two-way thing. So you expect your husband to give you an answer.
But I think this, so there's one thing very important between us as couples within a relationship. And what is that?
Respect.
Yes, respect. So I can, for instance, think, well, it was a very difficult day for him too. He had 5 children to look after. And you had to drive to the schools and to all the clubs and making dinner. Well, I'm tired too, but we're both tired. So I can say to him, what do you need of me? Can I help you? Let's do it together. So that's, and I can say it like this. I can say, okay, I will help you. But I can say it also, well, you know, I'm very tired, but let's do it together. Let's get the kids to bed. So that's the difference between, we can't read it. But this is a range of behaviors. Verbal communication can be passive, assertive, aggressive, and passive aggressive. And the tone of voice can be silent moans, or confident, or anger. The level of voice can be soft, and can be a very soft, or medium, or loud. But also I can eye contact, my body position can be different, etc. My facial expression will be different. So there are a lot of ways. And what I would like to do now with you.
Melika, can I add something?
Yeah.
Because it's nice to say this all, but we are forgetting some part of it. If in a culture the women is not allowed to speak or to address directly, how can you be assertive? Or how can you learn to be assertive at the same time respecting the cultural norms and values? The same with the men. You know, because one of the things when it comes to communication in between partners, or men and women, it has to do with that if the man is emancipated,
yeah,
and he comes home, he cleans the house, he will get feedback of his friends. By the friends will say, "Oh, you sissy, you have your wife to do that. Oh, why are you doing that?"
And that was the first thing here in this workshop, namely the film, and that's what we call the gender transformative film.
Okay, but I think that by doing this, you need to keep in mind also that everybody here has that cultural baggage.
Yeah.
And I'm very curious how they're going to combine those two with this.
Yes, can you combine it?
I
Abandon the culture.
You have to reform your way of thinking, and
I don't think reform, but
you can't abandon your culture because you're made with it.
Exactly, you
can. You can't abandon your culture.
Yeah, you can. People are abandoning it already. It can be done, because you know, before when because some of the culture comes also from fear. You know, fear causes a lot of problems in this world. You know, like men before they used to. Anyway, not all men. You shouldn't get some men. You know, who are a little bit that don't have self-confidence, don't allow their wife to go out to work because they think when she goes there, then she's exposed to other people. You know, and also in the culture before, a lot of men used to show how their pride. Used to be proud of a man. You had the pride so that your woman don't need to go and work. But those things are being abandoned now because things are tougher now than they used to be those days.
So,
really.
Okay, so so you change.
People change, yes. Some customs are left. Is it customs?
Yeah.
Are left behind, you know, for the progressive of the society. Really.
I think taking away the fears is a very important part of addressing the issue. What you said, the fear.
Okay, the fear,
You first have to find out where the fear is coming from, and the insecurity, and whatever. What I've noticed is, like, if you're the only person who is changing, people will look at it strange. But when more and more people are changing, people will come to accept it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But when the trend is in this, let's say the economic situation, you know, compels people to adapt. I mean, it will be only one person changing, but to be a move, so to speak.
But still, somebody like he said, you could still be affected by peer pressure.
Yeah.
That guy said, "Oh, okay, you know."
Yeah.
So, but after some time, when there's more people saying, "Okay, this is normal," and then there's still maybe a few people giving peer pressure. The people that word won't be important anymore.
But I also do believe that in situations like this, there has to be that balancing act. Balancing act in the sense that both, you know, have to fill in each other. Because if I take myself as an example, and I would say in terms of communication, my wife is way ahead of me. But I still have a lot to learn from her. In the sense that there are things I just can't, sometimes I don't just feel like explaining it. And meanwhile, it's bothering me. And she would just get it. She knows it that, Okuns, this is not you, that I know. She will feel it, she will get it. And meanwhile, if it is the other way around, immediately I already know. She'll just tell it to me and she's done. You know? So that we tend to regard ourselves as problem solvers, not until it is resolved. I won't tell it to her, she won't know it. And that could be killing. That is not acceptable. So if you ask me when it comes to this assertion of a thing, I believe women, in as much as I will agree with this gentleman, that depending on the society or the community, that in certain culture, women could be less assertive. But I will respectfully disagree, because naturally speaking, women are so good when it comes to communication. Women are so good when it comes to, letting their feelings and emotions be known as compared to men. I believe that is just something not human. I mean, in nature. That is just something natural.
But we can learn from each other.
That's the balancing act.
And maybe there's something else, because what one says, well, a peer pressure. But maybe we can teach our children something like, if we are respectfully to each other in relationships and try to
to communicate in an effective way, then we give that through to our children, maybe.
That helps, yeah.
But it's very difficult, I think.
I think it's difficult. Because women have a different way of interpreting things than men.
And that's
so,
one of the big
miscommunications. Yeah, this gender equality thing, we can only achieve it up to a point. You know, but practically speaking, I think it's a theoretical thing. You know, it may not.
But we can try.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's happening. But at what point, how far can it go?
The fight can go, I believe, is do you as a man, do I as a man believe in it? That is, do we as men want to give women, to give the women that opportunity, that chance also, depending on the society anyway, but because here there are so many things that are, that are arranged legally in terms of rules, regulation, laws, and what have you. So, and as such, those kind of arrangements move the women in the society along, which neither you nor myself can stop. It's moving, but again, it isn't there yet. And meanwhile, there are societies where those things are not even legally recognized or what have you. It's for us, like, for example, now you hit a woman at home, she picks up the telephone, call the police, you are out. When those kind of arrangements, when I left Nigeria, I don't believe it's applicable. You can beat that woman the way you like, it's your problem. Yeah.
But you know, I got to do
it's not done. You know what I mean? So that's why things are arranged.
I beg to differ on this one because things have changed a lot. In fact, we just came from Ghana, and I was surprised to see a woman driving the public bus. You know, we never had it before. But driving the public bus, I was amazed. So that has changed. I also saw while we were driving to town, there was they had I saw a signboard somewhere. Pointing to an office dealing with domestic violence issues. So I think the whole world is evolving in a way that we really can't stop it. So it is true that it may not have been, you may not have seen it way back, but if you go back now, this is a different story.
That's great.
It's a different story.
Okay. But we can try here together, try to use gender-sensitive communication. And although we are coming from totally different cultures, and give it to our children. Do you agree?
Yes.
Well, I had some scenarios, and I wanted you to ask to do the last scenario itself. The scenario was to recognize what kind of behavior it is. What kind of communication it is. And this is like the husband comes home, sees house dirty, untidy, etc., etc. The wife responds by keeping quiet, keeping yes, bye-bye, I'm sorry you went.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Making angry eye contact. Well, what type of scenario is it?
Aggressive.
What do you think?
Passive aggression.
Why? Passive? Is it passive or is it
passive aggression? Yeah. You don't like.
It's the husband is aggressive, but the wife is passive aggressive.
No, the person who is keeping silence, and you can see they are angry, but they keep it inside. That is a passive aggression.
Well, I think it's more aggressive, but yeah, it's a bit in between. And here, this is maybe, and now she comes. Oh, this is the same. This is passive aggression. You're right. And this. pleading and begging is what? So this is more passive, I think.
No, it's the
sense
is
is
conceptual.
conceptual.
It's not. It doesn't make sense.
The
right response by begging is by
the wife was his husband, because I changed not beaten.
Is it supposed to be the wife or the husband who is beating? Because I can't really make it out of
The wife is the husband is beating.
Okay. I think the wife is assertive.
Yeah.
Because she's trying to negotiate, make a deal with the man to calm him down, so to speak. If she could have been quiet and the man would have just continued raving and raging.
But she's pleading, and pleading is not so very assertive.
Well, I think the woman, the husband, had expectation that she was supposed to keep the house in order. So the woman feels like, well, I didn't do my job, so now let me buy some time to fix the things up.
Yeah, but she's not very assertive, I think.
She's not assertive. She's being passive.
Can you yourself play this role play and then being assertive? Who can do it? Who can do it? Can you try?
There's no aggressive one.
Who becomes assertive, the woman or the man? The woman.
Yeah. Or both?
Yeah.
Can you do it? Okay, with who?
With, let's try.
With the husband.
Well, let's try.
So I'm the husband. Let's start changing roles.
Okay, yeah. You're the husband.
I come home, right?
Okay.
Right, so what is this? Oh, I have to do everything. The whole house is untidy. I thought you would do some cleaning around here while I'm working. I come home and there's nothing done. Huh? Come here.
Easy. I understand how you feel, but no, don't worry, I'm going to fix it right away. Just say, can I get a cup of coffee? Let me get a cup of coffee, relax, and watch everything settle. Is that okay?
Woman!
What did you think of this? Very good. Very good. Yes. I don't think you would do otherwise to be assertive.
I would not say I would do it right away.
You
So you're trying to please me already, but it's not necessary.
What would you say?
I would. I think it's good that you started with. I understand how you feel, maybe tired, and I respect that. But I've also had quite a tough day today, and I think it would definitely be good for us both to have a clean house. We both feel better, but let's see what would be a good time to do this. Because quite tired as well.
Okay, so okay, you have asked that to do together.
Yeah, perhaps something negotiate.
That's sort of mood. It might take some calming down before you ask.
Yeah,
accept
calm
it.
down. I was a bit.
Well, that's really good. Calm down. Well, I had it written down as a. I had a form, but I can't find it. Oh, here.
Something fell.
Yeah. No, here. So you were doing all right, but you said, well, this I will do it. And that's yes, and that's what she was referring to. She wouldn't do that. When you're assertive, it's more like, okay.
But I think it's really good that you said, I understand how
And
you feel.
I think that's the really great thing to do. And sometimes maybe ask, how was your day? I think your day was really very tough. Tell me about it.
But that can also cause problems.
Yes.
When the person thinks you are not taking them serious, that can lead us.
No. I will take him serious. You have to be serious to each other. You have to respect each other. Not making games or something like that. Okay, I will wrap up now because I had the main things of assertiveness, and that's very difficult to read, is respect yourself. So that's the really basic word for it. Those things are express your feelings, ask for what you need, and state your preferences and assert your rights. And the not to do things, the don't think when you're I can't even read it without So, but the main thing is respect to do, and not going to scream, not to yell, not to hit, not to call the other person names, do not say anything that can hurt others, etc. And I think we did well, very well. So, wrapping up right now, beware of your own implicit ideas of what a man should like, should act. And that's the first thing you have to keep in mind. How he has to behave in public or in the domestic environment. That's what Ron was referring to, the group pressure. You have to be a man, you have to be a tough guy. Well, beware of your own ideas about it.
I think it should be a man or a woman, because it's like we're kind of attacking men.
No, I'm not attacking men. But a man or a woman.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Sorry. And be aware of the implication of how you communicate. Here, word is respect. And I think I'm going to wrap up now, because it's too late. So if you are hungry.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you all. Thank you.
Okay. Let's give a big okay. Have you answered all your questions and cleared some of the things in your mind? Do you have any questions for him before we yes.
What's the best way to learn to communicate? Like between a man and his couple. How can you learn to communicate?
Listen to each other. Well, I had some things more, but I thought maybe we also did that. Well, listen to each other and try not to think, well, I know what he thinks. Mind reading. Check really the facts. So what has happened in your day-to-day? Ask for clarification, but don't assume things. No. And reflect back of what you heard. So don't say, that was a stupid thing to say, but try to clarify the facts. So I think that we have to talk this over together. Let's go and sit down and talk about it. Try to explain to me and to each other what has happened. Just stay with the facts and try not to make assumptions. Try to listen to the other man's story, of other person's story. Try to understand how it is for him or for her. And try to remain calm. And that was what one of you.
One of us.
It's very difficult try to remain calm. And sometimes people try to have a way to remind them to be calm. For instance, say white cat or something like that. And try to monitoring the warning signs. I'm building up. I'm very angry. So maybe I should now quit. Yeah. Do I have more? No. Respect the basic rights of women and men. transformative approach begins with you. So, you know, when we talk with all the people in the other countries, some women who say, well, I had this as a homework. Try to do something completely out of your gender box was the assignment. And when she went home and she thought, well, I want to do something around sexual health, around sexuality. And that night she went home and she took the initiative to have sex.
Okay.
And when she went the next day again to the training, she was receiving all the time text messages from her husband. And he said, oh my God, I never thought it would be like this. It's really great because I always thought that I had to take the initiative. So it was very benefiting for them both. Yeah. Or a man who went home and thought, what can I do for my wife? Something totally different. And you know, every night she made this bath. She made a bath for him. And this time he did it for her.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. So try to do something out of your own box if you can, and try to keep in mind those rules or those tips about communication.
Yeah, okay.
That's your homework. And maybe I can learn from you too. I think so.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we're ready. Thank you.
Hey, let's give it a warm applause. Okay. Now we're ready to eat something, but in the meantime, just take about 2 or 3 minutes to fill out this evaluation form for us. One about the speaker, about the workshop itself. Tell us what you feel, what you think. Okay? Would you do that for me? So just write it out and please give me my phone. Yes. Go ahead.
Sorry that I'm playing again.
No, it's okay.
But I was wondering, because you say, oh, maybe it's better to play. Is it okay for me? It's still
Yes.
If I can. I was wondering, because you say this transformation starts with you, and I think that's a good thing, but also to kind of add to what Juan was saying, like when you're dealing with peer pressures, and I think gender roles are so dynamic, and they are enhanced by a community or by a culture. And so it starts with you, but is there a way, and I think this was already a great start, to kind of start it also with the community and with each other. And for example, if you are dealing with peer pressure from men, I think it's wonderful if you engage in a discussion with men and with women and see how...
The peer pressure is not always alone with men, it's also for women.
Yeah, especially also.
Yeah, also for women. Well, I think...
Because this was a great start, because you talk with each other about it, and that already shows...
That's the beginning. That's the beginning. And I think it's a very good beginning when you try to educate your own children like this. Because if they see that you are doing it another way, they don't know another thing. You know, my husband and I did a lot of things for my child, but I was supposed to work, and he also was looking after her. He gave his bottle, and he went to school, etc., etc. But one thing I didn't realize, and that happened when she was 13, and I had to work at the weekend. And she really needed some clothes because she was going somewhere. And I said, oh my God, no, I can't go. But you can go to the parlor. And I saw that he loved it. He really loved it. He liked it so much to bond with this child. And he said, are you kidding? You shouldn't go as a child, go shopping a woman's job. But I never thought of that. And my husband also didn't do that. But we ourselves are sometimes young people very, how you call it, between in an innocent way, yeah, unconscious. So this is an example. This is more an example of how you can influence your children by being gender transformative or not. And even we tried it, but I really didn't realize that for her it's very important. She thought my mother does things, my mother does things, not my father. He shouldn't, and that's the word, shouldn't. That's the word we shouldn't use. But is this...
Does that answer your question? Okay, any other question for Ms.
No, oh my God.
Any other question or remark? Okay. Well, have something to drink, and let me have your phones. You fill them. Thank you very much. Okay, you want to fill one also?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
But definitely the partner relationship that is applicable. So this whole gender thing that we're dealing with, you think it's behind it all is a feminist agenda, or it is just a way society is evolving now?
I think it's more society.
Okay, yes, yeah.
More feminist. The issue of women emancipation is something that is kind of related to the minds of so many women. Without due respect.
Everybody down with your sheet?
Yeah, emancipation can be both ways.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
And I think on the side of men. Because a lot of I was sexual abuse, and a lot of my one skill.
Yeah.
The idea right then was that isn't possible to do. And now many of them do that. But the men are not.
This is my brother.
I know. Okay, what the hell? Very nice.
And I saw issues like this comes up.
Miss Olu is more, I like her name.
More or less seen as a feminist gender. Okay, gender equality.
And break all the bones.
Yeah, I'll put Paul on it. Next.
You're watching.
You live in England?
From my mom. Yeah, she speaks. Yeah, she said I Chinese Queens. Oh, well, I look a little bit too much.
Sorry.
Too much.
You had a question or?
Trying to be able to hold something.
Okay, I hope hope tonight was worthwhile. We learned something. I hope.
Just the hat. Let's go together.
Oh, mine? Thank you.
conclude. Yes, you are brilliant.
Stop.
Yes.